Hello, everybody. Welcome back to A Sweet Journey. I am Sonia, also known as Sweets, and it is day 15. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. It is February the 29th. It is, I was trying to read up on like leap year, leap day. The math of it is very complex, but just so you know, it is February 29th. There will be another February 29th, God willing, in 4 years. The basis behind this very complicated math is that it takes a little bit more, like about a quarter more than 365 days for the year, for the, what is it, the sun to orbit the earth or whatever. And that quarter, that 0.24, blah, 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 we make up for it. And we do that every 4 years. However, there's something about we overcompensate, and then we have to do something like, we have to do something every 100 years, and then every 400 years, we have to do something else. You did not come here for that. You just came here. Fortunately, you came. First of all, thanks, welcome. But really, probably to hear about what my title said, which is the learning, the celebrations, the fact that I am on my last day. I have not closed my ring, but I will, God willing. I always have to say God willing because, you know, you can assume a lot. But anyway, 29 days straight of closing my circles, of writing in my journal, of 15 days of uploading these videos. I had 15 days that I wanted to add an intention toward doing that. And I've done all of those things and it feels really, really good. And I just want to talk about it. I did a class tonight. I'm an adjunct coach, faculty coach for the University of Denver, DU. And tonight's conversation was about goal setting. One of the topics, there were several topics, but one was about goal setting and like the strategies for goal setting. And I think about that when I think about this celebration, in that I set goals, and I always set goals. Like I'm pretty much a goal oriented person. It's what I do. Like I like to strive for something. There's the striving thing. I don't, whether that's good, bad, indifferent. It's the way that I operate. And so one of the things that it talked about in the strategy conversation was commitment and the process it takes to actually follow through on a commitment. And I think for me, what comes up, what I think about is motivation and what motivates people to get things done. And we were talking about engagement as well in work and that. And so all of that to me is around the same conversation, in that it's like when I think about, like, I've set a lot of goals and I don't meet all of those goals. Like I'm not successful in every goal that I've ever kind of set an intention on. And what is the difference with this one or these ones? Because it was a collection, it was a cluster of goals that I set and that I'm today actually meeting. And I think what was a big help, I think, was the journal writing. There's something about that. Like I was writing in my journal. It's a 5-minute journal, which I love because I think that is also something that I need for me. Everybody needs something different. But what motivates me is to be able to, for my highlight of the day, actually, like one of my wins for the day was that I closed my circle. And so I would write that out. Or one in the mornings, I would write what would make today great. And sometimes I would write closing my circles, especially if I woke up and I didn't feel like I was going to. And so that commitment, it was more likely, one learning that I have is it was more likely for me to complete my goals because I set myself up in the morning to have a great day by doing it. And then in the evening, celebrating as a highlight for my day that I had done it. And I did that every day. And I think there's something to be said about that. Something neurologically, I think, happens when you set an intention, celebrate that intention, and then it makes you want to continue to do that. So I'm keeping that. I am a 5 minute journal fan. I'm an advocate. So that's one learning. Another thing we talked about is task complexity, right? And we talked about there was this graph that we showed that had like on the, I guess, x-axis, or at the bottom it was like pressure, and at the top it was like performance. And it's like you have to have a good balance of pressure and like what you have to do, performance, right? And there's this sweet spot. And that's what you want to find. You want to find the sweet spot that, like, if it's not enough pressure, then you're probably not going to be engaged enough to do it. And if it's too much, it's going to bring about anxiety, and it's going to be too much. And then and the level of, I think, like, energy you have to put into it, all of that matters, and there's this sweet spot for it. And I think for me, what made February successful to me is that the tasks were easier for me to accomplish. And my goal was not weight loss for the month of February. It was completion of the habits that I was attempting to build, which is different. And so closing my circles, maybe I didn't do a full-on workout. Maybe I just walked. And I know that walking, like pacing back and forth in the house, was going to help me close the circle, but it was not going to help me lose weight. And what I have found is when my goal is losing weight, I don't do as well. But when my goal is really to develop habits that I'm going to have for the rest of my life, I address it differently. And Atomic Habits talks about that. I talk about James Clear, his book Atomic Habits. I think that had something to do with this, in that I am a journal writer. It's what I do. And so putting that into action and having intentions that I was setting for myself inside of those actions, there was something about that was helpful. And it was really supportive. And then closing my circles is, I typically do closing my circles, intermittent fasting, drinking X amount of water, and not eating bread, potatoes. And I usually like stack on all of these goals, and I typically do poorly with that. But in this, it was like, just close your circles. Just build the habit of closing your circles. Because when you close your circles, things are better. And I ended up cutting out bread and potatoes and sweets because I was in a lot of pain and I was having a hard time functioning. But I didn't do it as a goal. Like, it was like, this is what I have to do for my life. And so I think there's a lesson in that. Focusing on the complexity of the task and making sure that it is more bite-sized and habit-forming instead of big and lofty and sometimes disappointing, because it's too lofty. So, yeah, that's the second thing. And I think there's something to be said just about taking the time to acknowledge the success of it, and even rewarding myself. Like yesterday, I had a gift card and I used it to buy lipstick. Just rewarding myself for doing a good job. And for me, that is motivational. It is motivational for me to be able to reward myself. And I rewarded myself, yesterday, because I know today it's done. And and I think that there's something in that. And so for me, I don't know what motivates you. I don't know what the level of complexity is for you. Like, people who I work with, they are very hardcore, like hit power, kind of workout people. I'm not that at all. They like to hike and do all of the things. I'm not that. And so I think the important thing is that you do what works for you, and you set up a plan that you can keep, and you take the time to acknowledge yourself and honor and support yourself in the process. I think that's important. And when I look, like, there might be a day that I didn't close all my circles, and it's okay if that is the case. I don't think it is, but if it is, it's okay. I'm gonna I'll show an image at the end today of my month. So Yeah, I just wanted to stop by and one, celebrate that, two, give you my little lesson on leap year, and then three, just kind of, I don't know, just I think it's a good thing always to share tips. There's one other tip that I have, and it's not about goal setting. Maybe it is. Okay. I was talking to T today, and T said that someone that she works with, I think, was talking about leap year, and I think T was trying to think of like what could she do on today, like that's different than other days, and there was this encouragement, and I challenge you to write a letter to yourself or something that allows you the opportunity to check in on something that you commit to do. I think it's that you commit to do in 4 years. So for the next leap year, write something to yourself that you, or to somebody who you love, that they cannot open, they cannot read, they cannot do anything with until this time 4 years from today. And so I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to send myself a meeting invite for 4 years from today. And that meeting invite will be to reflect on the things that I set out to do and to check in to see how I'm doing. I'm excited about that. I think that's going to be really interesting. And so I invite you to do the same. You don't know. Maybe you'll be here, maybe you won't. I don't know. But I think it's a good thing. And then you could have like something that you would like to see in 4 years, you'd like to see yourself be or have or be doing or something like that. And yeah, I encourage you to join me in that challenge. All right. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.